and San Lucas.
Good morning, everyone. You are listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz and 104.1 FM and AM 1340 KOMY La Selva Beach, Watsonville. It's 10:05 on a Sunday morning, January 3rd, 2016. Got a quick look at your weather and traffic. Animal hazard at 951 Highland Drive at El Rancho Way. Animal was just hit, and CHP on the way. At 9:08, had a fire, Highway 1 at Cottonwood Road. This is a car fire as a result of a collision. No injuries reported, thankfully. Otherwise, roadways looking good, including highways 1, 101, and 17 on the coast. Weather outlook: rain is likely for today and a high near 61 on the coast. Tonight, rain for sure and a low near 50. Tomorrow, rain will continue on through the beginning of the week, on through Friday. Monterey boaters forecast for today: south winds 5 to 10 knots and west swell 4 to 6 feet at 14 seconds. The time's 10:06. Up next on KSCO, it's Remember America with your host, Humble Brian the Great. Longevity sale in effect. This is KSCO.
Welcome. Happy New Year, happy, wonderful New Year, everyone. I hope your holidays were really good with family and friends and good food and celebration. That's good. We still have that. And that's part of remembering America, too, that we keep certain good traditions. Sorry. I'm broadcasting from a secret location in a whole nother area. And today, folks, anyone who knows the Freedom Forum people, give them a call. Tell them to listen in. Anyone you know who is active in standing up for freedom in a sensible way, of course, call them. Tell them we have a very, very big, very important show today. Very, very important show because we have. It's come to our attention that there is a big standoff going on in Oregon. And the Oregon Militia up in Malheur, Oregon, has occupied a a federal wildlife building there. And there are a number of them, about 100 of them. And people are also coming onto this area. People are starting to travel into this area from all around, and it's becoming quite an event. And there's a real story behind it. And we have the pivotal guy, the main guy that this all started around, is going to be coming into our show. He'll be calling in. I got an email from him today. I invited him to call into the show because when things that are so unjust are going on, everyone has to do their part. Everyone has to stand up somehow. And if it wasn't so far away, I know a lot of us would be going there, and probably some of us will actually travel up there to just be on the scene. It would be very good if 10,000 people showed up there, or even a few thousand showed up just to observe and keep everybody sort of proper, to make sure that nothing crazy happens, because these are just regular men. They're farmers, they're family men, they're fathers, they're teachers, they're carpenters, they're workers, and they're furious about what happened up there. I'll try to give you a thumbnail sketch, but I believe the name's Rainey, if I recall right, because I'm not here with my computer. And Mr. Rainey, who has a farm there, he and his son did a legal burn, which every farmer in the country does. They burn some brush and so on to protect from a wildfire coming and taking their farm. So they do a controlled burn. I believe that's what it's called, a controlled burn. So they did a controlled burn, and the authorities came around and arrested them for arson. And there was a hearing, and some so-called federal judge, which I'm going to ask his name when Mr. Rainey comes on, because Mr. Rainey is going to be calling in. I think I got his name right. If not, we'll certainly correct it. And he will be calling in any time. And Jason, just bring him on when he comes.
Got it. We are ready on over here.
The
And Brian, you're
judge
coming
gave
in really hot,
the
just so
son
you
a
know.
1-year sentence for arson, and he gave the father some kind of, parole, or, I don't remember what it was called, where he didn't have jail time. Then maybe they made some statements. Maybe they had a meeting or two saying how wrong it was. I don't know what happened. We're going to find out. And this judge comes back and says, I decided the sentence wasn't harsh enough, and he re-sentences them. And he gives them years in jail, which I imagine is being appealed because they're both still free and out. And to me, this is the forces of tyranny, the attitude that hates real freedom, that hates the real America, coming forward and trying to make examples of people, saying, oh, you're going to stand up for your rights, you're going to complain, you're going to say that you have private property, you're going to say you're allowed to observe the tradition that every farmer in America has observed since there ever was a first farm in America, of having a controlled burn. I don't believe they did any damage or anything. But we want to find out the details. So Mr. Rainey will be calling in, hopefully sooner than later, and we're going to get his story. We're going to find out what's going on. And I told him we'd like to have a moment-by-moment description of what's going on there at the Standoff, because of course there's a police force there. These men are inside, and they may have arms. I'm not sure, but they're not a bunch of yahoos. They're not a bunch of crazies. These are concerned citizens that have decided the government has gone too far again and again and again, and this, to them, is so outrageous, so egregious, that they have decided to draw that line in the sand. And my understanding is people are descending or ascending onto that area, and they might have quite a big crowd there soon. So we'll see about that. Now, our number is 479-1080, and I invite anyone to call in if you want to call in today. It's a different kind of show. I'm not right on the location, so we won't have mistakes all through the show because Jason, the pro, is running everything.
Happy to be here, Brian. And just so you know, you are coming in just a tad hot on our end. So if you could back off the mic just a bit, just about 6 inches or so. All right, much better. Thank you.
Were they able to understand what I was saying?
Oh, yeah, we got you loud and clear, folks. Give us a call, 479-1080.
Yeah, okay. So, folks, it's 479-1080, and you're welcome to call in. with any of your thoughts about this, or you can Google it on the web. Look for Oregon Standoff. So jump on the web, take a look at Oregon Standoff. We want to know what your thoughts about this are. This is a major event going on right now up in Oregon. It could be a flashpoint. We don't know. Things like this sometimes create much bigger things. And, I'm curious to see where this goes and how it will develop. So jump on the web and Google Oregon Standoff, Oregon Militia Standoff, and we'll see. Yeah, something's trying to get hold of me, but I will beat it. Now, another thing going on is there's a man named David Yema, I think it is, Yema. I think it's David Yema. And he has papers that are going to be presented to the Republican National Committee on the 15th of January. He has impeachment papers ready that he's going to present to the Republican National Committee and ask that they go forward with this. He's a very brave man, and he and others think there are a list of reasons why this president can legally be removed from office, that he should be. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I'm just reporting on that to you. You can also Google David Yema, Yema. I'm pretty sure that's how it's spelled. And or just, impeachment RNC impeachment papers, something like that. And you can take a look at that too and see what's going on. So there's a lot happening. The way things go, I doubt that it will go forward or anything will happen. It seems like all of our leaders, all of our representatives, most all of them are compromised. They haven't lived right. They've done all kinds of things, and so this president, with his listening devices and everything, and not every president, the resources they have at hand, they can give they can give envelopes to these different guys and say, we'll be interested in how you vote, and they open the envelopes and poop in their pants when they see everything that's known about them. So maybe that's why we elect a whole so-called conservative Senate and Congress, and suddenly they get in there and they don't vote. They don't do anything. They don't do all the things that they seem they would do. And there has to be a reason for it. And it's probably because they're compromised. And because that's the thing about virtuous living. The people have to try, if you want to do something in the world or be something, you have to live virtuously, because that lack of virtue will prevent you from doing the good that's in your heart, because they'll have things on you. Or you have to be so brave and selfless that you say, go ahead and ruin me, I'm going to do the right thing anyway. So that's what we have going on here. It's 479-1080. I welcome calls today because we don't have the usual show flying along with the music and everything at my fingertips. So it's going to be a talk show today, and you're welcome to call in. How we doing on time, Jason?
We could take a break right now.
Oh, Jason must be taking a break. Am I still connected?
Yeah, everything's good.
Whoa. Yeah, I'm still connected. All right. Because I can't hear the show.
Okay, well, we're going to break right now, so we'll be right back, folks.
I don't know if he broke into a break. Jason, you there?
Oh, I guess he can't hear me. Oh, this is just great. Oh, we'll be right back.
Probably went to make himself a sandwich.
Former club members Denzel Washington and Jennifer Lopez for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future.
You can change a child's future. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Please donate today at boysandgirlsclub.org. Thank you and happy holidays.
Get a new view of the world with Coast to Coast AM.
When do you see this entire picture unfold?
It's unfolding right in front of us. The corporate struct runs our government. And most importantly, they keep us on the two-party system. As long as they can convince the American people that your choices between evildoers, the Democrats, or evildoers, the Republicans, they have absolute control of you. The biggest threat would be a genuine third party.
Hear Coast to Coast with George Norrie Monday through Friday beginning at 10 p.m. on KSCO.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. The human brain is a gooey jelly 4-pound mass that's responsible for how we process and perceive everything in the universe, and it's nearly 60% fat. And over the past several decades, we've learned that a type of fat called fatty acids are among the most crucial molecules that determine the brain's health and coherent functioning and its integrity and ability to do its business of navigating and creating the world and its body and habits. A couple of these fatty acids, called essential, are required for maintenance of optimal health, but they can't be synthesized by the body and must be obtained from dietary and supplemental sources. Developing brains are especially dependent on them, and babies who get their essential fats, which are found abundantly in breast milk, are known to have improved mental development and visual acuity. And the benefits of these essential fats are not restricted to infants. According to the Psychiatric Times, depressed adults who ingest essential fatty acids may notice mood elevation and an improvement in emotional symptoms. And an online article in the prestigious journal Neurology concluded that EFA intake by older adults is associated with a reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease and slower cognitive decline. Because essential fatty acids in foods are unstable and break down rapidly, the best way to get your daily dose is by using a good nutritional supplement. Fish and shellfish or flax are the best sources of omega-3s, and evening primrose or borage oils for omega-6s. And the award for best all-around EFA-rich nutritional oil goes to hemp seed oil, which contains a perfect balance of omega-3s to 6s. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to kscohealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com. I'm the pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to kscohealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos, too, at kscohealth.com. That's kscohealth.com.
Hello. I don't know if I'm on the air yet or not.
No, he doesn't even know he's on the air.
Okay, we're back. We haven't heard from Mr. Rainier. I'm sure he'll call in at some point. So there are a few things on my mind here at the new year. Well, I saw that great game with, man, it was, who I don't really follow football. It was college football, and it was I think it was Alabama against, Penn State, the Penn State game. I forget who they were playing. But, man, it was a great, great game, and Penn State was just, it looked like they partied too much the night before or something. They couldn't do anything right. But then toward the end, man, they started coming back. It was great, you know, boom, 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 boom. And at the end, they were so close, they couldn't close the deal. They just couldn't quite get there. They wound up one touchdown behind. And it was the end of the game. They just couldn't quite do it. But it was a great game to see. There was some good football. And, you know, Donald Trump. Now, he's going gangbusters. I'm wondering what will happen if he wins in Iowa, because the polls keep saying Cruz is ahead. I keep seeing them trot out someone new. They tried to trot out Rubio. He got shot down. Of course, in the very beginning, it was all Jeb Bush. It was understood that Jeb Bush was going to be the nominee. Everyone knew it. And that was a done deal, and everyone knew it would be Hillary in the beginning because that's where the power was. And then along comes Donald Trump, stirring everything up. And suddenly Bush is about to fall off the edge. If Bush continues with these low single-digit numbers, I mean, I don't even know if he should be in the next debate, but I'm sure he will be. But, folks, and then Hillary, Hillary, oh, yeah. So, folks, the way I've seen the world work, as outrageous and preposterous as it seems, if I had to bet, if someone said you have to bet $20 on who the nominees are going to be, regardless of what the polls say or anything, right now, you have to bet who will be the nominees. You know what I would say? Against all appearances, I would say it will be Hillary Clinton running against Jeb Bush, because that's where the power is. And they always seem to find a way, the ones that are behind everything, the ones that hold the real power, that are not really our government. And they will find a way to make Jeb Bush the Republican and Hillary Clinton the Democrat, because those are the two people that they most own. Those are the two people who are for the one world government. And that's what's going on. Our government is now controlled by sinister foreign powers. Everybody knows it, except for the blind, new, useful idiots. The very educated, liberal, everything goes, Everything's fine, And maybe everything is fine for them. Maybe no matter how it goes, they'll be in good positions because they're useful. Yeah. So that's what I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that way. And if Trump does run, if Trump does become the nominee, it'll be something. Now, he's about to let loose with a whole like assault of ads that they've probably been working on for a while now. And, he probably has the best people putting together the most amazing ads. And Donald Trump is very soon going to hit the airwaves with these ads. There'll be attack ads. There'll be probably glorious ads for himself saying we'll make America great again. And I've sent Trump my song, Remember America. I've sent him the high peak chorus that we use here at the station and a guitar version of it that's very nice. And I keep sending it to different people that might be able to reach him in his campaign, saying get this to Donald Trump because it'll be a great theme song for him. Remember America, land of the free, America, remember America. That'd be a tremendous theme song for him. But he probably has something that some known music person wrote for him that's, we'll be great again, some great little hooky thing. It'll probably be darn good, too. And that's what they'll use. But anyway, I make my offerings. Like that. So who will be running? Who will be the nominee? We'll have to see. What happens in a few weeks in Iowa is going to be very interesting. What if Trump wins that?
Hey, Brian.
Then will anyone notice? Is it break time?
No, we got a call from David Grace in San Francisco.
David, what's his name?
Grace.
All right, let him put him on.
All right, he's on.
Here I am. Hey, Happy New Year.
Hi, David. What's your last name?
Domney. No, it's a humbling name, Grace.
Oh, Grace. I thought you said great, and I was going to be offended because I'm humble Brian the Great, and that would have been like a challenge,
Yeah, Brian, I thought you were rich at first. Hey, well, a couple of things. I agree with you on the preposterousness about whether or not it'll be Hillary and Bush. If I remember right, Bernie Sanders was beating Hillary by 14 points, and if I remember right, Bush was down at something like 3%. So logic would say that you're dead wrong, but I still agree with you. I think in the long run it's going to end up that way because I just remember like 1968 when Bobby Kennedy got killed, and as a matter of fact, after I'm trying to think. Let's see. Martin Luther King actually ran for president for a brief 3 weeks, and then he was killed. and then Bobby Kennedy was killed, and I'm trying to think of what else happened that year, but we ended up with Hubert Humphrey in that campaign, so it was pretty sickening.
Humphrey had no chance to win, and that's exactly how they wanted it.
Yeah, and Nixon was considered, there were any number of different stories about him, and no reason for him to come to power. But actually, in '72, George Wallace was basically the Donald Trump of the day, and George Wallace ends up getting killed, and there's a lot of evidence that Nixon had something to do with that as well. Nixon's tied as well to the John F. Kennedy assassination. So Nixon's got a lot of, as a matter of fact, all of those Watergate tapes are still in hiding. We, the people, don't get to hear all of the Watergate tapes, and there's supposed to be a lot of evidence about many crimes that Nixon was involved in. But the thing I disagree with you on is...
Now, wait a minute. Nixon said that he's not a crook. So you're going to say that the president would lie?
Oh, everybody knows it.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing up in Oregon, though, I wasn't certain what was going on until I went to the Department of Justice website, and apparently this family, was it the Brannons or something like that? Oh, Hammonds, Dwight and Stephen Hammond.
All right, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just like Cliven Bundy was using U.S. property, he was using BLM land for years, decades actually, and never paying any rent on it. Apparently the Hammonds set fire to 130 acres of federal property, and they've dragged this case on for 13 years, and it's whether they've pled guilty to setting the fire. They called it weed control or something like that. But
did it get out of hand? Was it an accident that it went that far?
I'm not clear about that, but I don't think they put in a permit for burning 130 acres.
That's why I didn't take a real strong stance about it, because I said I want to find out more, because you never know.
Yeah,
but there are a whole bunch of men that are occupying this building, and they don't look like yahoos to me. And so, but if they burnt 130 acres, then something's a little strange there,
Sure. Well, and the other thing,
it was an accident, but still, and federal land. Well, if they were using federal land for all those years, then it could be that they're kind of grandfathered in, like the government didn't try to stop them, and so it kind of gives them
they were trying to. Yeah, no, Cliven Bundy was supposed to be paying rent, but there was administration after administration that never went down hard on him. He was down there toward Las Vegas area, and in this case.
But I mean this situation in Oregon.
Now in this case,
federal land for decades.
If you look at the CNN stories and you listen, Cliven Bundy's son is one of the spokespeople for them. That's why I brought him up, because he's being used as the spokesman for him, and I mean, I consider the Bundys a pack of welfare cheats, and they've tricked a whole bunch of gun nuts to support them. But the fact of the matter is, if I remember right, the Cliven Bundy family, they had like 600,000 acres of BLM land that they were hogging and not paying a nickel's rent for decades. And they went through.
You said hogging, and I'm not trying to take any side. Did they prevent others from coming on the land as if it was theirs?
As I understand it. Yeah, as I understand it, I'm not a percipient witness, but as I understand, and see, the thing is down there, looking at the two different areas, if you look in Nevada and that area down there, it's very desert-like. You can't get, if you were in Missouri, you might be able to get 10 cows per acre, but in Nevada, you're lucky to get 1 cow per 100 acres. I mean, it's so barren that 1 cow is starving in 100 acres. And so when you start looking at them hogging 600,000 acres, if somebody else tries to go in there, everybody's going to starve. So, the U.S. government had been trying for years to replant in there, and he kept sending his stuff in and eating up our effort to replant. So it was, Cliven Bundy is so many layers of a welfare cheat. But looking at the CNN stories up in Oregon, though, this is in southeastern Oregon, which is where I've probably mentioned to you. I work on energy issues up here and we're very anti-nuclear. And so you look at southeastern Oregon, that's where the Hanford plant is, and Hanford is not only very radioactive. This is they've polluted a great deal of southeast Oregon, and there's a quote in one of the CNN stories, one of the Bundys, or Bundy is actually quoting it, and he's talking about how prosperous southeast Oregon used to be, but now it's one of the poorest sections of Oregon. Well, that's probably
because of the nuclear plant?
That's what I contend. Absolutely, because, if you look at the way that the radioactive water has contaminated, almost all of, the Columbia River. You've got sections where
it's like they sit up at night and try to think of ways to just spoil everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you look at the Columbia River and it flows all the way down to Portland where all the hippies are. God, you've got everybody from the hardline ranchers to the hippies are being poisoned by the Hanford. And so then you start looking at the cancer cases and whether somebody's got to sell their farm to, cure their wife of cancer, or, the cattle are dying and can't be marketed. They've got to be irrigating out of that area, and I think that there's a lot of stuff under the surface that's not being talked about, and I think Hanford has got to be one of the big picture issues up there in Oregon.
Hey, that's right near where all this is going on.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I could actually take that straight back to Cliven Bundy down there in Nevada-Utah line, because if you look at the Nevada test site, and if I remember right, Cliven Bundy is not far from St. George, Utah, and St. George, Utah is where John Wayne basically died. John Wayne was filming a cowboy movie out there in St. George, and they blew off an atom bomb test, and all that radioactive fallout landed exactly on the film shooting, and almost everybody in the crew and all the major stars in that movie died because of the radioactive fallout from that test.
How long did it take till they died?
A couple of years, but they came down with cancer right away. It was very hot.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it was very hot, and so the area that Cliven Bundy is hogging is also in that. It's what they call the downwinder area, and so anything downwind of the radioactive test sites, and so the nuclear industry is basically at fault for ruining the economy of southeast Oregon, as well as the whole area of the Cliven Bundy 600,000 acres. So
well, they turned a major river into a river of poison, a real serious poison.
Oh, the Columbia, absolutely. Yeah, it's scary. Have you kept up on what they're doing there in Fukushima about the water that they use up there?
What's happening there? Do you know? Because a lot of people want to know. It's all quiet now, but that thing's still raging.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have to build, if you're driving down the highway and you see one of these massive tanks, they're usually natural gas tanks, and they're usually in the outskirts of a city. They've had to build hundreds of those to take the radioactive water that they're flushing through that Fukushima nuclear power plant, and they're still leaking like 300,000 gallons a day. In fact, I think it's 300,000 tons a day.
Into the ocean.
Into the ocean, right. So if you look at what they've been doing with Hanford, they've had to build similar of these tanks, but instead of putting water in them, they're putting radioactive isotopes, and so it's like, steel will rust under certain conditions, and hypothetically, they were using high-quality steel, but the reality of these con artists that sell stuff to the government, they were selling crappy tanks that were supposed to hold things for 1,000 years or something, and these things have rusted out in a decade or so. And so these are extremely radioactive. It's like radioactive sludge and all sorts of. And what's even creepier is that if you had some purified strontium sludge versus some purified plutonium sludge, you wouldn't want to mix them in the same tank. But they've apparently been doing that.
Well, they're desperate. They don't know what the hell to do. They're desperate.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And any supervisor that's got any integrity to them has to go out on the site every once in a while to check on things, and as soon as they go out there, they find that they're radioactive. So, anybody honest out there ends up getting poisoned as well as the dumb jerks. So the dumb jerks are generally the ones that don't show up. And they're the policymakers in D.C. that are buying this, these lousy steel tanks from contractors that don't care. So, we're dealing with the culmination of a whole lot of hazardous waste issues that are only going to get worse because, everybody's pleading poverty. They're saying the government's broke and that the nuclear industry is safe and clean as milk. Well, there's double lies in the whole thing. We're not broke, and the polluters should be paying for this stuff. So
man. Well, look, I think we have to go on a break. Will you hang on? This is a nice discussion.
Sure, yeah.
If you don't mind, we can carry on.
Yeah, no trouble. Thanks.
All right, so Jason's going to take us on a break and hang on because I've got other things to say, and I know you do.
All right, here we go on a break.
All right, Jason, my man.
Hi, it's MZ with a great idea for holiday gifts for a lot of people for a very small price. It's my mom's award-winning book of KSCO commentaries. For KSCO, I'm Kay Zwerling. The words of wisdom in this book will give you strength and energy all year long. You can buy the book here at KSCO for $15 a copy, but listen to this. Special, 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 special offer. Buy a case of 28 of these books for only $100. That works out to only $3.58 per book. You heard right, only $3.58 per book, which normally sells for $15. And if you're nice to her, Kay will sign all of them for you. This deal is for a limited time only and available only in case quantities of 28 and must be picked up at KSCO Studios at 2300 Portola Drive in Santa Cruz. Now, I realize it's late in the season for gift shopping, but at this price, you have an amazing investment. Use them as gifts any time of the year.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Costa, host of the Costa Report. I don't know if you feel a little sluggish in the middle of the afternoon like I do, but if you do, I'm going to suggest you try Pollen Burst. It's an orange-flavored energy drink that comes in a packet, and it tastes a lot like that other orange drink the astronauts used to drink. You know the one. Pollen Burst contains vitamins A, B1, B3, B6, B12, pantothenic acid, vitamin D3, and gluconolactone, all designed to give you an energy boost that can last for hours. Pollen Burst comes in a box of 30 packets for $56 or 2 boxes for $100, and you can order it right now at kscoteam.com. The next time you feel tired and need a little boost, skip the coffee, soda, or candy bar and mix up a cold glass of Pollen Burst and do your body some real good. Go to kscoteam.com.
Health Coach Tara here, and I wanted to invite you to listen to my new show here on 1340 KOMY called Health and Happiness with me, Health Coach Tara. Tune in Wednesdays 1 to 2 on 1340 KOMY, where I'll be sharing tips and tools on how you can live a happier and healthier life. This isn't your average nutrition show. I'm excited to be a part of your wellness journey, and I hope you are too. Tune in Wednesdays 1 to 2 p.m. on KOMY, where I'm creating wellness through education and inspiration.
Oh, I hear talking like we're still on the air. What happened? Is our caller still? Has he been talking all this time?
No.
No, not a bit.
Oh, I heard something. I guess it was just a commercial or something. It was kind of, it wasn't clear. Oh, well, I got a couple questions. One thing, are we sure that that's true, that they burned 130 acres? Did they plead guilty to that?
Well, let's see. The website I'm looking at is justice.gov. I take it's Department of Justice. And
I know sometimes lightning causes fires, or some hobo campers or adventurous, so.
Yeah.
And then they'll pin something on people they want to stop. So I'm not taking a side here. I don't know. I'm just asking.
In this case,
fair question.
In this case, it is Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Oregon. It's a press release from Wednesday, October 7th. Eastern Oregon ranchers convicted of arson resentenced to 5 years in prison. And actually, they say after a 2-week trial, the trial involved allegations that the Hammonds ignited a series of fires that burned 130 acres, and that and it was land on which the Hammonds had grazing rights leased to them for their cattle operations. So
now, why would they do that? Why would they take the food away from their cattle?
Well, there are two different allegations. One is that they were claiming that they were burning out the weeds, and the cattle weren't going to eat the certain types of stuff they were burning out. But the prosecutors were actually claiming that they were doing poaching up there, and that they were trying to wipe out evidence of their poaching. So that gets into a whole nother layer of it.
Oh, yeah, well, I've seen the down and dirty. I've been involved in some very major law cases, and I know what they do to someone as unimportant as me, I know how they twist things and come with outrageous lies and stories, to try to win. So if they're out to get someone, and I don't know what they are, I'm not one of these guys that just jumps, but if they're out to get someone, then they'll get a little piece of truth here, a little piece of truth there, and they'll paint a picture and get it out through their mass media and create a scenario, a picture of what they want these guys to look like. So I sure hope that what's the man's name? Well, I don't know which one. I think
Hammond. Yeah, Hammond.
I don't know if it's Hammond. I think a man named Rainey who's involved with the militia. I think someone's going to call in. It might be Hammond. I don't remember now. He sent me a message back saying he would call into the show. So maybe he's listening to see what we're about, or maybe he hasn't made arrangements yet. So hopefully he'll call in. So that's one question: are these allegations true? Was it a normal burn, controlled burn that every farmer in the country does, and did they try to make something out of it, or did it just accidentally get out of control? Why would these guys purposely burn a whole bunch of acreage that their cattle need to graze on? So I don't know. I'm not sure about it.
Well, here's if you get into the third paragraph, it talks about the trial itself. Witnesses at trial included a relative of the Hammonds who testified the arson occurred shortly after Steve Hammond and his hunting party illegally slaughtered several deer on BLM property. Jurors were told that Stephen Hammond handed out strike-anywhere matches with instructions that they be lit and dropped on the ground because they were going to light up the whole country on fire. One witness testified that he barely escaped the 8 to 10 foot high flames caused by the arson. The fire consumed 139 acres of public land and destroyed all evidence of the game violations. After committing the arson, Steve Hammond called the BLM office in Burns and claimed the fire was started on Hammond's property to burn off invasive species and had inadvertently burned onto public lands. It goes into more detail from that, but like I was saying, this www.justice.gov, and then it's a press release from Wednesday, October 7th of last year. Eastern Oregon ranchers convicted of arson resentenced to 5 years.
Well, it might be true. It sounds pretty bad, and it might be true. Then again, who's this relative? Does he have some kind of background? Does he have something that could be uncovered, something that he's in trouble for, or he's already on parole or something? Were they able to pressure him to get him to say what they wanted? I don't know. I have no idea, but I know how things work.
Well,
and
I
paint a very good picture to work their way. Who is this relative who testified? Because that's the whole linchpin of the whole thing, is that there's a family member saying these things. And this family member did he fall out with them, or did the government have something where they could put this guy away, you'll never see the light of day again? Did they scare the crap out of him? Was his son in trouble? Did they say your son will never see the light of day again? Did they have something on him or his family that could force him to have to testify like he did? Or is it all true? And did these guys just mess up? Were they just stupid and careless and whatever the problem is? We don't know. We don't know for sure.
Well, it gets into whether if they were what they're talking about, the poaching. I came from Colorado before I came here to California, and in Colorado back in I was there all through the 80s, and I think the average deer permit was like $2,500 for every deer permit they gave out. The average hunter would spend about $2,500. And I think elk was even higher than that. It was like $5,000 for every.
Were they endangered or something?
No. It was just your average. If you started looking at the economics of a deer permit, they would garner the state about $2,500 in revenue just for each permit they handed out. And elk was as much, like 5,000 or something like that. So
and
when you start,
that's for permission to shoot one deer.
Yeah, exactly. So now, and that was in the 80s. So here we are 30 years later. Well, actually, this would be in the 20 years later, because this all happened in 2001. And it took them 15 years to get this trial going. But if you start looking at if they were doing illegal poaching operations on BLM land 20 years later, were they charging hunters, $5,000 for a deer or an elk? Or, well, they're saying deer here. So, I'm just wondering if they had hired, received money from somebody to go on a hunting trip, kind of like Dick Cheney. You remember when Dick Cheney shot that guy in the face?
I wonder if he had hunting permits.
Well, the thing is, down there in Texas, that company that they had a big old reserve. It was private land down there in Texas, and they would hire, people would come down there to shoot ducks or shoot whatever, but they would shoot like 700 a day or 2,000 a day. In fact, there's a famous story about one of those old British kings, and the guy shot 20,000 ducks in one day. The guy was just crazy. He loved killing stuff, and he shot 20,000 in one day. This was the guy, I think it was the 1920 or something like that. These guys were just nuts. And so
that's what the ducks get for being alive.
Exactly. So in the case of Dick Cheney, he went down to this place to go shoot some ducks, and he was trigger happy. And somebody else could do a Google search of how many he actually shot that day, but if I remember right, it was in the hundreds. And these are basically ducks that are kept under a net, and they're released, and then he goes and shoots them. So they're tame ducks that are basically raised on there and used. Somebody will pay high dollar to go out and kill stuff. So I'm wondering if these Hammond people were doing exactly the same. They raised some deer and then bring some hunters up there and set some tame deer out and shoot them. Nobody'd know the difference. But burning the 139 acres of our land just so he could profiteer from it. You were asking why would he burn his own land for cattle grazing? Well, if you were going to make a whole lot more money from some dumb sucker that wanted to shoot a deer, that might explain it.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the story is, and maybe the government got it right, maybe they didn't. I don't know. What the story is there. I hate to think of a deer being shot or anything like that. But, there are hunters. There are people who eat meat. I don't eat meat, but it's all nature happening. And
my biggest issue, though,
if people want to hunt, they have a right to hunt and get their food. I mean, Jesus gave people fish to eat.
Sure. Well, this would have been out of season, but as well, it would have been on BLM land. You can hunt on your own land off season, but you're not supposed to go on government property and do the same. But again, my biggest issue is the radioactive stuff. In the case of the Bundy guy and the press releases about what's going on in Oregon now, they're talking about the value of that county being down to poverty level. I contend that the poverty level is because of Hanford. And that's the nuclear facility up there in southeast Oregon. That's basically because the hazardous wastes are spreading. The Hanford has to take over. They have to condemn the land. They're basically doing well, it's not asset forfeiture, but when the poison leaks onto the land of some farmer, they buy out the farmer, and they're probably ruining the local economy through the spread of the radioactive waste up there.
Now, does the farmer have to sell his land? Is he forced to sell it when that happens?
No, but it's definitely to their advantage. I mean, this stuff will be radioactive in their wells for. This is underground, water seepage, radioactive water seepage
ruining
onto
the whole
somebody.
Water table under there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's horrible, and it's.
Someone said to me when I was a boy they said there's something in the Bible, which I've never seen. I've read the Bible a lot. I've never seen. They said there's something in the Bible where it is said that the next time the world is destroyed, like it won't be by flood, they said the next time the world is destroyed, it will be by a fire that does not burn.
Well, there's actually, I'm trying to think of what there's an herb. The 1/3 of the water shall become as, and I'm trying to think of the name of that herb, but it's thought that was supposed to be radioactivity. 1/3 of the water will become radioactive, and I'm trying to think of the name of that herb, because if you look at the same definition, they've known about radioactivity, radioactive rocks for thousands of years because they glow in the dark, and so the 1/3 of the water.
They probably knew they made people sick too, huh?
Oh sure, yeah, and in fact, farming and all sorts of people going on the run because of war and strife and poverty and whatnot, and they have to live in the worst land. Yeah, absolutely. God, I wish I could think of the name of the.
Well, I'll tell you what. Think about it. I'm gonna close off this segment of the show with a special thing I do of the breath of visualization, and you're welcome to call back after the break, and we can get. It's a great conversation, and you have a lot of good information, so we can continue on. If that man from Oregon wants to call in, he'll call in. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll do.
So
Keep listening.
This down.
Well, Happy New Year. Otherwise.
All right.
Wait.
Call back if you want. It'd be nice to continue. Okay.
Will do. Thanks.
All right, here we go.
Okay, folks. Jason's got the music, and we're going to do the watch the breath and the visualization. So I don't know if I'll be able to hear the music. Jason, let me know if the music's playing, if we're happy for this.
Yes, music's playing.
We're happy. Okay, the music's playing. All right, folks. So here we go. Sit still now. Everyone sit still. You've had your holidays and your parties and your overdoing. So now sit with your attention on the breath. Breathe right up into your forehead. Watch the breath. Let it do whatever it wants. Look up gently in the forehead. Take the highest thought. Just sit still. Oh, I don't feel like doing this now. Oh, I'm going to run. I'm going to get out of the fall. Just put your attention on the breath. All the restlessness, all the fear, all the wrong ideas, all the anxiety and stress that all comes through the mind. So let's all sit still here. We all need. Let's breathe through the nose and just watch the breath. Let the breath do whatever it does. Just watch it. Observe it. Let it go fast, rough. It might stop. It might get very calm and still. Breathe up into the nose, through the nose. Gently look up in the forehead. And think the highest thought. Highest thought could be whatever idea you have of divine. Could be the universe. Just think the highest thought. Keep watching the breath. Just beginning to edge into it now. Breathe through the nose. Gently look up in the forehead. Think the highest thought. Ignore all distractions. There's things going on. There's dogs barking. Things going by outside. Kids playing. All kinds of things. Let it all be. Keep watching the breath. Take the highest thought. Look gently up there. Take the highest thought. Back to the breath. Back to the breath. Very good, very good. Stay with the breath. Look right up under your forehead there. Look up there. Take the highest thought. Let go of the breath. Just observe. Let go of the breath. You have plenty of oxygen. Now you're beginning to relax. The mind's beginning to settle down. A lot of you are now getting into that good place that already exists. That's your natural state. Is peace. And that becomes joy. Keep watching. Stay with the breath. Stay with the highest thought. If it becomes no thought, that's wonderful. Just be there. Allow the divine. Allow the divine to have you. Keep watching the breath. With the highest thought. Let that peace spread through your whole body.
Santa Cruz.
Hearts blazing, hearts.
CBS News, I'm Gary Nahn. A protest is underway in rural Oregon, southeast of Portland. Dozens of people are occupying a federal building supporting two ranchers facing jail time for arson beginning tomorrow, led by members of a family previously involved in a showdown with the federal government. Earlier, Ammon Bundy was in a standoff with the government over grazing rights.
There's been leaders of different militia groups, different organizations that have called for a stand down, and I am wanting to talk to the individual, to the patriot, that this is not a time to stand down.
Some residents of the area near Burns, Oregon, are upset.
I want them to go home. I think they intimidate the local people.
The group is occupying the headquarters of the Militia National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon. The 600 or so employees of the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California, return to the complex tomorrow for the first time since the massacre a month ago. 14 people shot and killed. One of the mass killings that's become a catalyst for those calling for more gun safety laws. Lavinia Johnson is executive director of the center.
What I am hearing from the staff that the first day, back is a welcome relief to return to a sense of normalcy.
The conference building where many of the deaths occurred will not reopen, no indication when it might. A video posted online today purports to show ISIS executing 5 men, all accused of spying for Britain.
Only an imbecile would dare to anger a people who love death the way that you love your life.
There is no independent confirmation or verification of the video. France is saying that its military warplanes targeting ISIS in Syria have destroyed a site used to produce missiles and store weapons. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has signed an executive order requiring the homeless to be moved to shelters when the temperatures fall below freezing. WCBS reporter Kelly Waldron.
It's a matter of human decency.
The state will not leave homeless people on the streets in freezing weather.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's executive order requires communities to place homeless people in shelters when temperatures fall below freezing, whether they want to go or not.
I want this done. I want this done statewide. New Yorkers want it done, more importantly.
And he says he will not argue an individual's right to freeze to death. If he gets sued for bringing people in from the cold, he says, so be it. Kelly Waldron, CBS News, New York.
There were no Powerball jackpot winners in the latest drawing. The $334 million prize is being eyed, though, by these ticket buyers.
Pay all my bills and pay my Uncle Sam.
Bye. Pool, everything. Gym. Gotta have my mom with me, so I gotta have enough room.
If you don't play, you're guaranteed you will not win.
Powerball spokeswoman Sue Dooley says the top prize will be even sweeter.
We are going to $400 million for the Wednesday drawing.
This is CBS News.
Mom, I can't do my math homework. I just don't get it. I'm no good at math. I hate math.
I've always considered myself a good mother, but when it came to my son Billy's math, I was at a loss. It wasn't that he didn't try, but he kept falling further behind and losing confidence. Then a friend told me about Math Made Easy DVDs. You can order any subject from arithmetic to fractions, percents, algebra, even calculus. Concepts are simplified in an entertaining way, so students enjoy learning at their own pace in the convenience of home. It's as easy as watching TV. Best of all, it's affordable for everyone. Listen, end the frustration. Call Math Made Easy. Call now for a 30-day risk-free trial. 866-598-MATH. Now that school is in full swing, it's important for your child to keep up with the fast-moving classroom pace. With Math Made Easy, your child will always be one step ahead. Call now, 866-598-MATH. That's 866-598-6284. Or visit us at mathmadeeasy.com.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz and 104.1 FM and AM 1340 KOMY La Selva Beach. Streaming around the world on KSCO.com and ZBSradio.com. It's 11:04 on a Sunday morning, January 3rd, 2016. Jason Struby here with a quick look at the KSCO weather and traffic as we continue the longevity sale on through the day. Highway 1 looking at the limit all the way from Monterey to Santa Cruz and back. Highway 17 at the limit over the hill and back. 101 at the limit all the way from San Jose to Salinas and back. Other roadways looking good, although we did have a report of a fire at 1019 101 southbound at the Red Barn. That is a vehicle on fire. Otherwise, a collision on 17th Avenue at Harper Street. Reporting no injuries, thankfully. Weather outlook, 50 degrees will be the high here on the coast for today. A low around 45 this evening, with rain in the forecast on through from the afternoon on through the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Boaters forecast south winds 5 to 10 knots, wind waves 2 feet or less, and a west swell 4 to 6 feet at 14 seconds. Temperature outside the KSCO studios currently 50 degrees. Don't forget to stop by 2300 Portola Drive. Get your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, OsteoFX, EFAs, and Synaptive. Up next, it's Hour 2 of Remember America with your host, Humble Brian the Great.
Hi, it's MZ with a great...
Hey, hello everybody. We're back. So Jason told me that I was coming on too hot, too close to the phone. I was trying to be like Alex Jones. I thought maybe I'd get a real gritty kind of little bit distorted voice and and be like Alex, but I guess not. Some people have it and some don't. I'm back off on the phone now. Jason said this is good. I just have it here leaning in front of me. So if I hold it in my hand, I get carried away and get too fast. Now, about the longevity sale, that's good. If you want some longevity products right away, then Dave Michaels is out there. You get to meet Dave in person. He's an amazing guy. And you can pick up your products. So it sounds like they finally have Synaptive in. Synaptive is the product that goes right to the level of the brain, right? Nourishes the brain and sharpens the synaptive, the sparks from the neurons, and causes mental clarity and focus, and supposedly dispels tension and stress. It sounds like an amazing product. I'm going to have to try it and see, because a week or two ago I was walking around really trying hard to remember where the heck I left my cell phone, looking, and I realized it was in my hand. So maybe I got to try the Synaptive, so it can't hurt. So I'm going to try that, and I'll report back to you what that product's like. I did get a call, I think it was, yesterday. I got a call from someone late last night who said the Synaptive was fabulous. Yesterday sometime. They said the Synaptive was fabulous, and it was working. I think they had a son who's a bit autistic or something, and I suggested that maybe, because it works on the level of the brain and the neurons, that maybe somehow it would help, And so I said, we can't promise, but it's a chance. And they said they like it a lot. I've gotten some good reports about Synaptive, and Dave finally has it in. Of course, I'm not there to buy one from him, but I will soon. So about the longevity thing, if you want something right away, you can ride by the station and pick it up. And it's good prices. Dave has better prices than if you order even online, I think. However, it is a great company, and it's really all about the product. The longevity products are really something. The Tangy Tangerine is just, I get calls back so much from so many customers that have come in, through me. And they rave about the Tangy Tangerine. I mean, I know what it is. I believe it, because I know it. And it's amazing to me to hear the same thing back over and over and over from people, that it really gives them a lift. They really feel this nourishment, the super nourishment in their body. So it's good. So you can pick it up right away from Dave. However, it is a great company, and if you really want to work with the company, they let you make money. They really do. They let you make money. You can actually have a little business with almost no investment. You can do very well. I'm grateful, that MZ turned me on to it. God bless him. I'm making some extra money. It's really nice. And there are no real demands made on you. So if you want to come in as a distributor, which is only a one-time $25 fee, if you want to come in, you can sign under me. You can call me at 831-479-1080. Now, oh my gosh, 831-359-8392. You can call me directly at 831-359-8392. If you want to come in, I will help you build your business. If you want to come in under me, I will help you build your business, and you can dabble with it and get your product for free, which is really something, half price free. As you begin to get into it and start making a little money, you can at least make enough where you get your product for half price or you get your product free. It's a great opportunity. I'm telling you, it is a great opportunity. And Dr. Wallach asked me what was my secret. I was with him a month ago or so, that I get more orders than anyone else, I think. And he said, what's your secret? And I said, well, it's easy, Doc. I just tell them after this first order, everything's free from that point on. And he laughed, But really the secret is you don't sell. The secret is you never sell. You never try to get anyone to buy. You listen to them, you listen to what's going on with them, and you feel for them. You understand. The guy's got headaches that won't go away, and they did go away. He called me in 2 weeks. Or his son or his wife has this or that. And you think hard about the products that deal with those parts of the body, and that after a while, that a number of people have gotten help from these products, real help. So you start telling, well, this person had this and blah, 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 and that person couldn't digest their food, and this person's off their medication, which I never tell anyone to get off their medication, but they call me back and tell me they take the products, they feel great, and little by little by little, they would lessen their medication. Nothing to do with me. That's their business. That's your business if you want to cut down your medication. But this is what people have told me several times, that they little by little would cut down on their heart pressure medication. One man was 7 years on blood pressure medication. And he told me he was taking the products and feeling so good that little by little, he said he kept cutting back on his medication, kept feeling great. His blood pressure was doing better and better. And he called me and told me he was completely off his blood pressure medication, and his blood pressure was normal, and he felt great, and he had high energy. So this is the kind of product you're dealing with. It's about the product. It's not about the money. It's not about how much money you can make. It's really about the product. And if you like to help people, if you like to tell people, oh, you should have some apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper helps with that. If you're one of those kind of people, I'm telling you, this is the most right livelihood that maybe you'll ever find. So give me a call at 831 after the show, 831-359-8392. I will bring you in, and I will help you build your business. There are ways to help you build your business and help you to get started. And I have one person that came with me who's doing very well, gets a lot of orders. She's gifted. She's very natural at it and doing very well. So I'm giving this whole talk because there are people out there who need to find a way to make money, and you're the helper kind. I know you are. I know you're out there. I know you, and you have that mentality. You want to do good. You want to do the right kind of work, and you need money. Allow yourself to prosper. Lose the poverty consciousness. You don't have to be poor. You don't have to live to be rich, but you can allow yourself to make money while you're helping others. And the trick is, don't sell. Help people. Tell them about these wonderful products that really work, and make a living for yourself. And all around you'll have people that'll be so happy and grateful because they'll be feeling better, they'll be doing better, and then they spread, and some of those come in under you. And next thing you know, you got a little network going. It's network marketing, but it's righteous. So there's my talk about longevity. I can't help it. I've been wanting to tell you about that for a long time. So you give me a call, not to chit-chat. I really don't have time. But if you want to learn about it, how to come in and how to get started, I'll help you. It's very little investment at all to get started and come in. And first, you try the product and see what it is. That's the first thing. You see what the product is for yourself. Then you have a true story to tell. My digestion's better, or those aches and pains in my leg that used to make me limp, they're gone. Those are real stories. Happens all the time. Not every single time, but it happens so much. So you'll have a real story to tell about what it did for you, what you truly know, and then you help others. They tell you stories. Now you have 2 or 3 stories, true stories to tell. You don't have to lie to anyone. You don't have to twist anything. You don't have to push. You just tell them that there's help available. They found the right company. Let them come in, and you come in first, and there it is. If no one calls me, then I'll know there's some dummies out there that could be helping a lot of people, and you're not willing to move your butt to actually really help a lot of people, and you're not willing to move your butt and allow yourself to make money. You'd rather remain poor and complain about all the big guys that are keeping you from making money when it's right here for you. It's right here for you. Okay, we got a couple minutes, and we have freedom fighter Fran on the line that has a lot to...
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Fran.
Hi.
Hey, we just dropped Brian's call. We're going to get him back on the line here.
Okay.
But you're on the air, friend.
Yeah, you are on the air. What'd you have to say?
Hello?
Hey, Fran. What'd you have to say?
I had a question about the fellows he just interviewed, and I wanted to renew information regarding the impeachment. Speaking of people sitting on their butts, they need to act now.
All right. Yeah, it looks like we got Brian back on the phone. He should be right back here.
Okay, no problem.
Just a sec. All right, here he is.
Hello?
I'm back. Hello, Fran, you there? Now, I don't know what happened. I had the phone just simply leaning somewhere. There was no reason for the call to get disconnected, so I think George Bush is messing with us again. No, maybe it's not Bush anymore. Maybe it's Obama now.
Yeah, we need to stop blaming Bush.
Yeah, I used to say it's Bush's fault. Now I think I have to say it's Obama's fault. Anyway, Fran, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Missed you last week, but checked in anyway. I missed part of the first hour, and I couldn't hear. I tried to get you on the YouTube, but my computer would not cooperate. So I have a question. As to the two fellows who were on, I recognized one voice. Can you tell me the names of the folks you spoke with? Ray, the Oregon situation?
I think I only spoke with one. It was the same guy, and I don't remember his name. Jason, you got that name? I don't know. He might be able to find it on the screen still.
Okay. Not super important, but I've been on a couple conversations with some of the ranchers, some out of Texas. We know that the government is stealing our land anyway.
I know, I've heard about that. They're not only taking wilderness areas, but they're taking ranches as much as they can. They're taking whole big parts of territory. I guess the commies want everything to be equal. The people who work real hard should have no more than the people who sit around and collect.
Right, and this has been going on for years, including the Clintons who sold off acres of uranium-rich land. I don't remember if it's to China or who. But we know this has been going on. It's all increased under Obama, of course. And we need to support the ranchers in prayer at least and do anything we can to help them because, again, the farmers have already been denied their rights to water. We know the water scam that's already being perpetuated on everybody. And again, food grows where water flows, and that is the motto of the Farm Bureau. And as long as the government can stop them from watering and force them to send that water back out into the Pacific to fix the smelt or whatever fish it is, that's wrong. So
yeah,
we
little
need to be on
tiny
top
fish.
of this.
People should starve so little tiny fish could live. Yeah. All right, now listen, Fran. The first hour, what happened was we're waiting for a man to call. One of the people involved in this standoff was going to call in, and he hasn't called yet. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he had second thoughts. He sent me a message that he would call in, but he hasn't yet. But we have a whole.
Then just get rid of me. But I want to hold on because my
no, you
computer
can hold
won't let
on.
me hear you.
Even if he calls in, you can hold on. You might want to converse with him. But during the first hour, this man called in, and I always wonder, because the government's very clever, and they know what's going on, and maybe they knew he was going to call in somehow, and they had a dupe call in, or maybe the guy had real information. What he said was that these ranchers had started a fire that was like 130 acres or something. They had started a fire that went all that way. And that that one of their relatives testified that there was poaching or something, that they were poaching, shooting deer that you're not allowed to shoot, let's pay $1,000 a deer or something like that. Now, maybe the relative did say that. Maybe he was in a position where he would never see the light of day because they had stuff on him. Maybe it's true. I don't know. What have you heard about them starting a fire, and a big fire, and that's what the arson charges were?
That's the thing. I've heard nothing. But I do know from previous phone calls on the Where's Obama's Birth Certificate line that controlled burns are part of ranching. I don't know if this was. I haven't heard anything till I almost heard from your show.
Every farmer, since the beginning of our country, has done controlled burns.
Right. So
That's
we're
normal.
not sure what this is.
This guy says 130 acres went up. So either these guys are wise guys and they went too far and the government's trying to slap them, or the government's making a case, making a scenario for them to look like they're wise guys. We don't know, but it's funny that you would think in all the stories that are being printed that it would tell that they set 130 acres on fire. I read several things and saw nothing about that.
Mm-hmm. We already know we can't trust government. And deception and division is the name of their game. So
and we can't we can't trust most of the press either.
Absolutely, there's no question.
So have you heard of David? What's his name? Agima? What's his name? The man with the papers he's going to present to the RNC on the 15th.
Adema. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's another reason I called.
Adema. Adema. Is that it?
Agima.
Oh, Agima.
He's from Michigan, of all places. He's very brave. He's a former Air Force fighter pilot. At least he's doing something.
Sure, he's brave. For a former fighter pilot, he's brave. Yeah.
Now, he can't stand alone, though. We in California and everybody in every state has to call their RNC leadership. Here in California, the names that I have are Jim Brulte, Brulte, if I'm saying it correctly, Linda Ackerman.
Well, wait. Do you have phone numbers for these people? How do they call?
I have one central phone number, which I already called, but they've been on vacation until hopefully Monday they'll come back.
Some people probably want to know that number so they can at least inquire.
Sacramento, 1-916-448-9496.
So give that number again, because there's about 100 people out there that pulled up. Some of them pulled up a pencil with a broken point. Some of them pulled out a pen that doesn't write. Some of them are still looking for a pen. So say that number again.
Life.
All right, go ahead.
1-916-448-9496.
And when they call this number, what happens?
Hopefully they'll get past the recording and try to reach Jim Brulte. I have no extension, but the recording will probably give it.
All right, how do you
Linda,
spell that last name? How do you spell that last name? Because it's hard to hear it.
And please forgive me if I'm speaking loud, because
A
I
little
can't hear me.
a little too close to the phone, like me. Only Alex Jones gets away with that. Go ahead.
Well, I wonder if he has a hearing problem too. We who don't hear so well speak louder. Brulte, B-R-U-L-T-E. That's the last name. First name Jim, J-I-M. The National Committee woman is Linda Ackerman.
Is that Linda or Glenda?
Linda, L-I-N-D-A. Ackerman, A-C-K-E-R-M-A-N.
All right.
And the National Committee man is Sean, S-H-A-W-N. Sean, last name Steele, S-T-E-E-L.
All right, so those are four names.
More.
Right.
One more. Executive Director, Cynthia. Do you need me to spell that?
No.
Bryant, B-R-Y-A-N-T.
And what's that
Bryant.
number again? People should call to reach these five people.
Okay. 1916 448 9496.
All right, so why do you want people to call this number?
Because we have put articles of impeachment through the North American Law Center on the desks of at least 29 members of Congress. 2 members, I guess I will name them, Louis Gohmert and Scott Desjardins, promised that they would introduce impeachment proceedings if enough people called. Well, that's kind of phony baloney because it's their job to do that anyway. They've sat there for 7 years. But
well,
we don't
yeah,
have
there's I heard somebody talking on the web about it, and he said that, you know, if you see a felony committed and you know what it is, and you don't speak up, you're involved. You're like part of it.
That's
it's
right.
like you're a lawbreaker, and these they're all attorneys, and if they know that something really is going on, now every president gets called a traitor and a this and that, you know, all this goes on, and you know, Clinton, they tried to impeach Clinton, and
well, they
you
should
know,
have impeached him.
They always talk about impeaching Reagan. I mean, you know, so what are the reasons they have why these people think that Barack Obama should be impeached? Are there really valid reasons?
Yes. He has assumed office by fraud, not even being a citizen of this country. He's aided and abetted our enemies from the get-go, including now giving money to Iran. My friend was held hostage in Iran back in the 70s. At the time, even Mr. Peanut farmer Jimmy Carter immediately closed the borders, imposed sanctions on Iran, sent Iranian students back to their own country, and gave reparations in the tens of thousands of dollars. And I don't know if it was carried out under Carter, but maybe Reagan actually did the carry-out.
Yeah,
but
did I hear something about the Iranian nuclear deal they made, or is that part of it, that they're saying there's something about that?
That's exactly where we're going, because Mr. Obama has now taken those tens of thousands and quadrupled them in the amount of hundreds of thousands and then some in this secret deal, and giving it back to Iran so that they can continue to form weapons against us. And part of the impeachment proceedings, there are like 42 articles. If you go to NorthAmericanLawCenter.org, anybody can get a copy of the articles, and there are other sites too. Where's
Are
Obama?
there any other particular issues you know of that they think are real reasons for impeachment?
Yes, the Benghazi situation, Listen, guys, even the Enquirer has a cover story on the 21st of December. Obama must be impeached now. Now, when it hits the
Wow,
Enquirer,
this is getting serious. Because I know with the Benghazi thing, it appears it's like that they knew right from the get-go what happened, and they came out with this story about it was the fault of some video, and this guy's in jail still. He made that video, and it's like now they've dropped that whole thing, and they're not claiming that anymore.
When you read the truth and you know the truth of just how evil this is, and again, the root is spiritual, but I won't get into that now. We have to deal with what is facing us. Mr. Obama, from the get-go, had an agenda.
Oh, okay, hang on. I was just going to do that. That's good, Jason. Jason doesn't take us on break.
Ben Lomond Market. Want low prices, great savings, and excellent customer service? Look no further than Ben Lomond Market.
Andy Gustafson. My job is the produce manager at Ben Lomond Market. I do all the ordering, quality control, bringing in new items, making sure everything is nice out on the rack for the customer to buy. I have worked here 25 years. I personally love the customers we have. I love working for the owners I have, and comparing those two together, it's a real easy, nice, fun job. My favorite is apples. Any kind of apple. I love eating apples. My favorite vegetable is probably Italian squash. We have plenty of fresh product, both in produce, meat, deli. We have, I think, a very warm crew, and we really try to make the customer happy. We really appreciate our customers.
Visit benlomondmarket.com. A proud member of Think Local First, Santa Cruz County.
Dave Michaels here, and you never know who's on board Flight 1080. Who's on line 1, Ben?
Line 1, we got Jimmy Carter.
You're in the air.
Well, hello, Mr. Michaels, Mr. Captain Picard. Thank you for taking my call, for bringing up this important issue. As you know, cancer is very important to me, and it's an issue very close to my heart. It used to be close to my brain, but no longer. God did not take away my cancer. For that, I have to give particular credit to Donald Trump. Mr. Trump barged into my doctor's room while I was in there, being very humble, of course, as the surgeon was explaining to me about the cancer. And Mr. Trump had a bold initiative. He said we should build a wall around my brain. And that way we could prevent further cancer from invading the brain. And that brain, the cancer that was already inside the wall in the brain, he just insulted that a lot, called it ugly names. Soon enough, it was embarrassed, and that cancer just left.
That's Flight 1080 every Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. right here on KSCO.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
All right, we're back.
Yes, we're back.
We're back. Spot from Dave Michaels, who I like a lot. And Dave's great on the air. Great, very talented guy. But I heard this blockhead on there talking, and he already had a wall around his brain. He already had a wall around his brain, and he is a perfect example of the new useful idiots that are on the rise around us everywhere. Don't shut the border. Don't shut down the border. Don't be mean. Don't be mean, because there are very nice, needy people who just want to improve their lives and live in America coming across the border. Well, that's just wonderful. They're coming across. They want to work. They want a new life. Some of them even get children across. You know, that's all wonderful. And really, maybe out of all the tens of thousands that flood in across the border, mostly right onto the welfare rolls, maybe only a few hundred of them are really deadly and dangerous. But you know, I could be exaggerating. Maybe only 5 or 10 of them are deadly and dangerous. Really, let's be realistic. Maybe only 2 of them, out of all the tens of thousands of good, wonderful, nice people who come through. Maybe only 2 of them are deadly and dangerous. Well, it only took 2 in San Bernardino, didn't it? And they weren't Mexican. They have caught these terrorist types coming in over the border, mixed with the Mexicans, with their heads shaved and their beards shaved, etc. So this blockhead and here's the reason I'm bringing this up, because there is a death wish. There is a death wish amongst the new useful idiots in our society. And maybe they have a death wish because of abortion. I don't know. Maybe because deep inside they've done things, or they're living in a way that is so really against their higher self that they feel like they shouldn't live anymore. I don't know what the problem is. Or maybe they're just so stupid and ridiculous. Or maybe they're so full of fear that they kind of really just want to leave the world. Maybe they're so defeated and they feel like they can't get anywhere, that they just don't want to live anymore. I don't know what the story is, but it is a death wish. It is people who close their eyes to evil. There's nothing bad coming over the border. There's nothing bad at all coming over the border. You're just mean. You're just right-wing, nasty, awful people. And there's people out there right now that think what I'm saying is true. And they don't get it. And they really don't think it's all made up. It's all government conspiracy. There's no one really bad coming in. There's no such thing as a terrorism. There's no such thing as ISIS. Well, now Donald Trump's coming out and saying that Hillary and Obama created ISIS. That's amazing. Trump is coming out saying that. This guy's getting serious. And I hope he does have good protection. You know, I told this before. I was praying for Trump. And I pray for a lot of people. I pray for everyone I care about and people, you know, in different situations. And I was in deep prayer for Donald Trump, and I was asking God to protect him. And a message came to me. I don't often get messages. I'm not one of these people who talks to angels and all that kind of thing. But now and then, this silent, still silent message, the voice that's not spoken, but you hear it. It's different, and it's so direct. It's very profound in a quiet, still kind of way. And the message was given to me from that higher realm. And the message was, I have him. I have him. So I believe Trump is protected. It could be, attempts will be made, and it will only propel him into office. I'll say something else I wanted to say. I'm just remembering now some of the things that came to me for this show. That's how it is. They go through my mind, and then they come up. I don't expect there to be any serious attacks that are really from ISIS until after the election. And because they are so afraid of Donald Trump, they do not want a man like him in there. Now suddenly there's a terrorist camp. There's a terrorist video with Donald Trump on it. They came up with one real quick. First, there was no such thing exists. Hillary's people admitted there was no such thing. They couldn't come up with one. They'd never seen one. They didn't have one. She has vast resources. She has hundreds of millions of dollars at her disposal. She has the best people. And they could not find any video with Donald Trump on it that ISIS was using to recruit. Suddenly now, bang! Just enough time to quickly put something together. Now suddenly there's an ISIS video with Trump on it. Because they would much rather have Hillary in, the world government candidate, than to have Donald Trump in, who's a real American, who loves freedom, and who will just completely trump them in every way. So they come up with a film now that they're using Donald Trump, you see, and so it shows that either Hillary is in league with them somehow, or they just fear Trump so much that they'll go to those lenses. It's a little thing. It's obvious. It's just so obvious. Quick! Get a film. We can give this guy a hit. You know, we can make him look bad. Make it look like Hillary was right. So they're trying to aid Hillary to get elected. And how do you know when someone's really good? How do you know when someone is really a true heart and sincere and for the good? It's easy, folks. It's the one that everyone's picking on. It's the one that everyone's attacking and trying to besmirch. That's who the good guy is. When both parties, when both sides attack him, when both sides are against him, you know you've got your man. That's your man. Trump is for real. He loves America. Yeah, he's got faults. He's a man. He's probably done some things that are bad. But he will do what's necessary. He's got the guts to do whatever has to be done. And you've got the new useful idiots like the blockhead that was on that disgusting, ridiculous spot. And you got people like that would rather be overrun. They'd rather surrender. They'd rather take their chances. Hey, I was kind of for you guys, and maybe I could work with you. Yeah, I'll oversee the beheadings. Sure, these kind of people shouldn't live anyway. They'll give in. They're appeasers. They're weaklings. They have a death wish. They're losers. They're fools. They're blind. So, having said that, in the kindest possible way, Fran, are you still there?
I'm here and I support you 1,000%. I
got one now. I got one. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to cite the scripture, which is one of many, that speaks to exactly closing the borders and impeaching Mr. Obama. Numbers 3:50 through 58. Guys, you got to look this stuff up. The websites, the scriptural basis, because if you don't clean the land, it will be full of evil. And all of Obama's policies will stand unless he's impeached. The proceedings can begin now, even if it's afterwards, but at least they must begin now. Yes, the Obamas are tied to the Clintons somewhere at the hip through some kind of Arabization of both. I don't know if that's the right word. But they were both heavily...
people need to know, why is it, but people say, well, there's no time. He'll already be out of it. There's no sense doing that. It won't matter. It won't mean anything. Tell them why it does matter.
Because it declares everything he's done, policy-wide, null and void. Otherwise, the Republicans are already running 3 candidates, although Bobby Jindal doesn't stand a chance. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are not legit. They're not eligible.
Oh, by the way, yeah, they're not the Constitution. Do we have a Constitution anymore, Fran? Maybe something happened I didn't hear about. Maybe Obama put out a new Constitution and everyone's applauding. But I recall in the Constitution, if you want to serve in the Senate or as president, you have to be a natural-born citizen. Do I have that wrong?
You are 1,000% right again. And the younger generations, and I speak as a teacher, which is another reason I enunciate overmuch and too loud. These children have not been taught anything of the truth of American history. That's why they don't remember America. Some of us older folks, and again, on record for 29 here, not going past 29, but we know we have a Constitution, and Ted Cruz knows it. His wife, Heidi, is a member of Goldman Sachs, a globalist law firm. That's another reason he voted for the TPA, TPT, all these silly things. We know that the Republicans will do exactly what the Democrats did because they're tied also at the hip with these Illuminati and globalists and whatever they are.
So, Fran, nobody cares. First of all, hardly anyone knows, and nobody cares that that Cruz and Jindal and Rubio have no right to even be running.
That's correct. In fact,
unbelievable. I wonder our audience out there, how many people are saying what? Or did they already know, or are they just finding out? And you have some people saying, oh, nonsense. Oh, but, you got these true believers, and there's none so blind as those who won't see. And there's some listening just so they can try to catch me on something or make some trouble or somehow, there's those who listen just hope they can somehow refute or discount or make trouble. And they're just rolling their eyes saying, oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, what do you mean you don't go through a red light? Oh, really? We're driving in a Mercedes, a brand new Mercedes. Red lights are for the people in the old cars. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I don't know. And they think, oh, Constitution, that's a new thing. Constitutionalists, like it's a bad thing. Oh, the Constitutionalists. You know what I mean? It's like that Constitution gives you a right to walk down the street holding hands, you know what I mean, any way you want, with anybody you want. And even that Constitution supposedly is allowing people to have these marriages they want to have. It allows people to live and breathe and worship or not worship as they choose. It's about freedom. The Constitution, freedom rests upon the Constitution. The Constitution comes from freedom. Freedom doesn't come from the Constitution. The Constitution comes from the spirit of freedom and the spirit of America. But freedom rests on that Constitution. The supreme law of the land is that we are free, that the government governs only by the consent of the governed. The people don't live and breathe and are allowed to be because the government gives them permission. The people give the government permission to exist. That's the glory. That's the genius. That's the divine blessing of what our country is. And people are rolling their eyes about the Constitution. The word freedom is becoming like a buzzword for, if you say freedom, you're a nut. If you have a flag, if you talk about the Constitution, these people are so warped. They are so sick. And mostly it's about gay rights and abortion. That's mostly the problem. And that is a curse on our politics.
That's the truth. Can I say something else?
Yeah, it's about time.
Okay. I could talk till tomorrow, but I don't want to do that. So I won't go over those articles bit by bit. Guys, get off your duff. Look this stuff up. And also, check out the Bible. Just check it out for a point of information. This Constitution that we are under was chartered by God, and our liberty comes from God. And I will send Brian some information about some other conspiracy things. But we need to listen and do something. One of the women who helped draft the articles of impeachment went in a wheelchair with a broken hip, flew from Florida to Texas to talk to Louis Gohmert about sponsoring these impeachment articles. Now, if she could do it, you can do something, anything, instead of just sitting there complacently, apathetically, stupidly professing yourself to be wise and becoming a fool as this goes on right under your nose. About three or four.
Now, give out that phone number again, and just list the names again of the people.
Okay, from Sacramento. Let me get that for you. But while I'm doing that, let me tell you this. December 7th and 8th, I took 2 days. I called over 200 people in Congress. No kudos to me, by the way. I was so sick after that, I had to decompress for 2 days. 200 people, mostly Republican, a few Democrats just to throw them in. But you can do something, and you have to do something. Okay.
And how were you received when you made these calls, Fran? How were you received? Did you feel like you made any progress, or was it just nothing?
You can hear by the Spirit over the phone, and only 2 people literally hung up toward the end of my presentation. And I speak a lot, but I'm a wordsmith. It's my job. It's my curse and my blessing, And you can hear, especially the younger interns, you can hear them receiving the truth. You can. Now, they can't do anything. They can regurgitate it to the powers that be, but you could hear that what I was saying about closing the borders and impeachment. Listen, they're not going to vet 6 million Syrians or anybody else when they never even vetted Mr. Obama Soetoro, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
okay?
Well, here's the thing, too, is you made some calls, and it's out there in the air, but if they get 1,000 calls, that's a different story.
Right. Well, there is strength in numbers, but nobody who's on the right side is cohesive. They don't have the money, and they don't have the will. And they've got to get the will. They don't understand how serious it is. because we've been living under liberal communism, and now Islam is taking that over, taking the kind hearts of Americans whose country was built on people who came here from other countries. But it was to get away from oppression and to worship God as they saw fit.
Well, it's like
it was
Valerie
turned into a
Jarrett
negative.
said. It's like Valerie Jarrett said in her college yearbook. I intend to use America's freedom against itself to make America a more Muslim nation. That's pretty close to an exact quote. And Obama chose Valerie Jarrett to be his chief of staff, handpicked her.
He's in with all the nest of vipers. They're vipers.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what's going on. And now, I'm concerned about the grid, and people have to prepare, because if they knock out the grid, you better have food and water and ammunition, and you better be ready to survive. And people really need to come together. Neighbors need to speak with each other. There have to actually be meetings. There should be some meetings at the Soquel Grange, where they have a lot of meetings here, and they show films and things, where people come together and devise plans of what they're going to do should this happen. Because someone told me that he has friends of a certain of different nationalities, some of the newcomers, and they're nice people and all, but they told him frankly that if that time comes, they will group, and they will go to the streets and go door to door and very politely ask for all the money, cash, jewelry, and food that's in the house. And if they're given it, they'll go to the next house. Otherwise, who knows what will happen. And so if this kind of thing is going to happen, people really have to have their own groups, you might say, some places where several families are going to come together and pool their resources, all their resources of every kind, and be ready to survive and fight off the marauders that will be going around, because the next step very well could be that the grid goes down. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to put that thought out there, but I keep hearing about it. It is the underbelly of America, and I don't know that this man in office is doing anything to protect it. And I don't know that
America.
I don't know that our troops wouldn't be told to stand down in a case like that. I don't know, So people really have to band together, and the advantage that the marauders have is they work together. They will join together, and they will go and take what they need and do whatever they want to do. And you got the regular citizens, each one sitting alone in their house, one by one, getting dealt with. So people,
the concept is unity.
It's time for people to unify and start little groups that could be part of larger groups, and be very steadfast that they're not going to start any trouble, that they're not going to, themselves turn into marauders, that they're going to be decent and noble, and they're going to keep the real creed and spirit of America. But if trouble comes to them, they have to be able to maybe they won't start it, but they have to be able to finish it. And so it's very important that people be brave if that kind of thing happens, that at every doorway they lose a number of their men, to where by the time they go to 50 or 100 doorways, their numbers are cut way down. People have to be willing to fight for that. Will be literally fighting for your country. God forbid that ever happens. God forbid it comes to that. But I don't know what's going to happen with this regime in power. I have no idea what they might do. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to find out he's just a nice guy who just got it wrong. He's messing up. He leans toward the Muslims. But we saw him bow to the king of Saudi Arabia. We saw that. Everyone saw it. A low bow, a real bow. Not a little nod, not a little half-Japanese kind of respectful bow. Way, way down. We couldn't see it because he was surrounded by people, but we could see how low he was bowing. He very well may have kissed the hand of the king of Saudi Arabia. He very well may have done that. It was possible. So it's really disgusting. Who knows?
Can I wind up? I want to say that there is a lack of unity among most people. The evil ones, the vipers, they are totally unified and have laser beams on the destruction of America and Israel. We do need to pray for Donald Trump, and Mr. Obama more than once has identified himself as a Muslim. In Egypt, in Mali, on video, even when George Stephanopoulos had to correct him and tell him he's a Christian. He's not. This is a Judeo-Christian country. His jihad mission is to make it a Muslim country. I would like to get off that.
The first step of jihad is to increase numbers. It's the first
That's right.
step
That's
of
what
jihad.
he's doing.
Increase
That
numbers,
is his
and that's
agenda.
what he's doing. Then the
That's
next
his
step,
vow.
the next step of jihad, which is, I'm not hating anyone, right? I'm telling you what is written, their writings. The next step of jihad is to push and confront and make demands, even completely unreasonable. Make demands, and then when your demands are not met, and even if they're met, then you make further demands, even more, exacting. You make these heavy demands until finally you become the victim, because your demands are turned down and they're picking on you because you're Muslim and you're the victim. And now from that victimhood and laying a guilt trip, which weakens the citizens of the host country that were kind enough to let you come in, you now go after them with attacks and harm and explosions and terror until they finally begin to appease. And there will be blockheads like the guy on that spot who are just can't wait to appease because they're full of fear. They have no faith. They don't know. They don't believe there's a God. Most of them. They don't believe that. They don't know what spiritual power is. So they don't have courage. They don't have that courage and that blind faith it takes to go forward in the worst of circumstances, knowing that somehow help will come. That somehow things will work for the good, because goodness gets supported. But that's the problem we have. We are so infected in this country that I am very concerned that George Washington's prophecy, the vision he had that's in his writings, in his diary, when he was visiting Valley Forge, and the vision he was shown was very, very stark. And it sure looks like that's what's happening. And part of his vision was over every border. Hordes were pouring over every border into America. It was a terrible time, and the whole country was on fire. But we came out in the end. So if that prophecy is a prophecy, then also in the end we will prevail. But what a purification. Whew.
Can I mention something else and then get off, so you can wind up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pray for Bill Cosby. He's about to get stuck. Bad. Politically, the agenda was to do this right before the statute of limitations ran out. Whether or not he did or didn't do things with some 50 women, the woman from Temple University is gay. That's part of the gay agenda. And the agenda is also to bring him down, because
to get his money, too. To get his money.
Right, to get his money.
I don't know, he might. There's so much of it, it's hard to believe that he's not guilty. But you also have to look at the timing of the news. This story will blow up to its biggest at a critical time, when the most outrageous, un-American thing is being done, when the worst move against our country is going on, that the attention should be on. That's when the Cosby trial and whatever's going to happen will hit its peak, to take the news away from what they don't want seen.
Right, they're doing everything surreptitiously. My point with Cosby being only that it wasn't until he literally spoke out about the Obama agenda, without naming Obama to my knowledge, that black comedian threw him into the fire. I don't know the name of the comedian. Yes, he might have done it, but don't forget, no matter what we've done in the past, and that's why we need to pray for salvation too, God forgives us, people don't. And they will pinion anybody who is any kind of a truth teller vis-a-vis Trump. So worry about Trump. Also, Gloria Allred is one of the most horrible vipers as well, where she pushes this, quote, feminist agenda. She also was involved in the Texas fraudulent voting thing way back in 2008 that allowed Obama to capture votes that were not his. She knew exactly what was going on, but as a corrupt lawyer, she supported it. I've had dealings with her office, so I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, pray for Cosby. His lawyer was on. I saw her. She did say he's blind. Does anybody else know that, or can they confirm it?
Wow.
I don't know. That's what I saw on video, and I know that's why she said he had a cane. Look, if he did wrong, that's between him and God. But these women were looking for money to begin with, and were looking to be on some of his shows at the time. They're responsible if they drink. they're responsible. It's called the Jezebel spirit in spiritual terms. Manipulative, you know, and it's all over Hollywood, it's all over California, and really all over the world. Feminism and being a female are two different things. Trust me.
Yeah.
My friends here who knows about this described a gay rally.
We got to wrap it up now. You got people are hearing it, but we got to wrap it up. And the thing, people, most of all, folks, you have to keep your spiritual practice, your prayers, your right living, your right mindset. Make sure you're in a good place, everyone, because I don't know if there's any remedy to what's going on now until there's some huge conflagration and one side will win and one side will lose. At this point, it is so runaway and so pervasive that the best thing is become a strong spiritual person. Be healthy, mind, body, and spirit, so you can handle what comes. I'm going to let you go, Fran. Thanks for calling in. May God bless you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, folks. So, Jason, get the music going, and I know now that we're out of here in about a minute and a half. So, folks, let's close. Put your attention on the breath. Sit still. Breathe up into your forehead. Look up there. Think the highest thought. Let's calm our minds down. We'll do a little bit of metaphysical warfare here. We watch the breath. Breathe up in the forehead. Think the highest thought. Calm down. Calm down. Get in touch with the real power that comes from within you. And out of this peace and power, we ask that this power go across our whole nation, that it just land right in the middle of the country and spread every direction, the power of goodness, the divine power of grace and goodness and overcoming, that America will awaken, that America becomes strong and healthy, that somehow we cast off the corrupt leaders wherever they may be, and that the good people get into office, and that the American people find ways to unify and overcome. We beg for our children, we beg for our nation, we ask that our Constitution come into force again, and that America be blessed, that America be saved. We ask for this nation to become a righteous nation, a nation that is used by the highest power for good in the world, to be a beacon of freedom and goodness and God power in the world. We ask this from this place of focus. We ask this in the spiritual power of Santa Cruz going out across our nation for salvation, for that we be protected, that we be lifted. And I know we're going out any minute. Stay with it, folks, and do this every day. Every day. Wish your country well. It's your country. You need it. You don't want it to go bad. We ask for these blessings. We ask that Donald Trump be guided and blessed to become a great president. And that God bless these elections, that the right people get in, whoever they may be, the very best people take command of this nation. Praise you, God. Amen.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
Missouri.